Stugatz here for 1-800-Flowers. With all the exciting hype surrounding Valentine's, you probably have some decent gift ideas swirling around, but you're waiting for the perfect one. Well, 1-800-Flowers.com is your answer, because right now, when you order early, you can get 12 multicolored roses for only $19.99, or double it to 24 multicolored roses for just $10 more. This is an unbelievable offer from 1-800-Flowers. This gorgeous bouquet of multicolored roses is a perfect surprise she's guaranteed to love. And remember, 1-800-Flowers is here for all your upcoming Valentine's needs. A dozen multicolored roses for just $19.99, or an upgrade to 24 multicolored roses for just $10 more is an amazing offer. When it comes to life's meaningful moments, choose 1-800-Flowers.com to order a dozen multicolored roses for just $19.99, or upgrade to 24 multicolored roses for only $10 more. It's simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. Again, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan.
Don Le Batard.
They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can.
Stugatz.
They're talking sandwiches, going at it as hard as they can.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Before we get to the thing that Magic Johnson said, and I have been told by multiple sources that Magic Johnson is doing that job the way that I thought Magic Johnson was going to do that job. Sort of whisking in and out of the office. Yes, fire everyone, trade everyone. You're doing a bad job. I'm going to run my movie empire. Is he still doing that? But Magic Johnson, the details, the specifics of the doing of that job. Magic Johnson's been given all of the power and isn't doing the work that usually gets done. He's doing the job the way Phil Jackson did the job.
Right, which is infuriating if you're a Laker fan, I think. Because, I mean, maybe Rob Pelinka's doing a good job. I have no idea.
He's pretty mad at Pelinka from what I've heard. Like, he's already pretty mad at Pelinka.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't hire your friends, man.
Oh, man, Magic Johnson, Magic Johnson has been powerful for a really long time and has known it. And now they just gave him all the power in an organization. And Magic Johnson, I don't think is going to want to do, given his level of fame and where he's arrived, the 16 and 18-hour days that job required when Pat Riley was doing it. Pat Riley can now do that job that way. He's trained everyone in the organization. He can now leave during the season to go do other things. But when it comes time to scout these teams, he'll be in the high-profile places where it'll be seen on camera.
Sure.
But when it comes time to do some of the dirty parts of that job, I don't know why it is that Magic Johnson would want to do them.
Well, he cares about the organization that much. Well, first off, I don't think he ever wanted to do them. He imagined someone would do them for him. I'm surprised he doesn't have someone better in place to do those things for him.
Well, it's early, though, and everything gets solved if LeBron just picks L.A.
Yes.
Everything gets solved.
Yep.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how he runs the organization if LeBron just picks L.A.
Yep. And if one of the reasons LeBron gives for L.A. is Magic Johnson.
That's right.
Worth it.
Then it's absolutely worth the hire, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you mad at Pat Shurmur?
I'm not mad.
You were mad at him. You were yelling at your computer screen during the break. What do you mean you're not mad? You were you were laughing in the face of Pat Shurmur, the computerized image of Pat Shurmur.
I guess I am mad and I'm laughing at the same time. I'm telling you, Gettleman and Shurmur, those are our guys for next football season. There is a headline here where Pat Shurmur plans to speak with Odell Beckham Jr. about what it means to be a Giant. Shurmur's been a Giant for 3 days.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do you want to be lectured by Pat Shurmur about what it is to be a Giant? I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Really? Mike says yes.
Oh, yeah. I want to know what that's like.
Hey,
I'm
all right,
familiar with this guy's work.
Allison, call Pat Shurmur right now. I want him to explain to us before 1 o'clock Eastern today what it means to be a Giant. We'll have him on. He'll say it, and then we'll let him go.
That's it. That's all we want.
I want to know from Pat Shurmur. I don't think there's anyone who wants to hear it less in the world, though, than Odell Beckham. I'm talking about the entire globe. There's some indigenous tribe somewhere saying, yeah, I'm interested in that Pat Shurmur information on what it's like to be a Giant. But Odell Beckham is not interested in this.
Gettleman's our guy. As someone who's a Browns fan, let me assure you, Pat Shurmur's not where you go for a soundbite.
I just want to ask him what it's like to be a Giant. Just tell the Giants organization. Allison, tell Is it Pat Courtney? I know I got that name right.
It is not. It's Pat Hanlon. That's a fine.
Pat Hanlon. Yes. No, wait a minute. Is that a fine when I'm asking the question?
You can't give it now. You're just framing everything in the form of a question.
Wait a minute.
All you do is ask questions now.
Wait a minute. I can't be fined for getting a name wrong while asking the question of, is this the person's name?
All right. You're right. I mean,
the public relations director for the Giants, let's call him and see if he will get us Pat Shurmur to explain in 1 minute or less what it means to be a Giant.
I will tell you this, and Mike will attest to this. If you get Pat Hanlon on the phone, he'll tell you what it means to be a Giant.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to settle for Pat Hanlon.
You'll blow past the hard network out, too.
Yes, but Hanlon knows more than Shurmur about what it means to be a Giant.
I don't want to talk to Hanlon about it. Hanlon can tell Odell Beckham what it's like to be a Giant. He's been there for a long time. I don't want to hear the sermon from Pat Shurmur on it.
Pat Hanlon loves being Pat Hanlon.
He really does.
He's good at being Pat Hanlon.
He's the best.
So, Magic Johnson just wants everyone fired now, Stugat?
Yeah, he sent out some tweets. He sent out 4 of them. It's kind of interesting. If anyone was aware of the sexual assault happening to women on the MSU campus from the Office of the President, Board of Trustees, Athletic Department, faculty, and campus police, and didn't say or do anything about it, they should be fired.
That means something coming from that guy at Michigan State. I remember how much trouble John Amici found himself in because he was at Penn State. He went to Penn State. He was a proud Penn State alum. And when these crimes came down, you know what? I think I'd like to talk to Meach about these crimes and some of the stuff we were talking about last week as a child psychologist. Because he wanted, as a proud alum of Penn State, he wanted everyone gone because he's now a leadership. He is now, John Amici is a leadership counselor. Like he goes in and conducts. It gets paid a lot of money to tell their corporations how to fix their leadership.
Yeah, he was. There was a video that went all over Twitter over the weekend. I know you've been offline for a while, where Meach is talking about this and how gymnastics in particular, where did it ever dawn on the parents? Do they really ask their kids at the age of 4 or 5, do you want to live this kind of life? This kind of isolated life, and also making the point that, hey, kids don't really know if they want that at that age. It's the parents who want it for them.
No, I'd like to talk to him at some point this week about all that stuff amid Patrick Peterson Super Bowl interviews and roller coaster rides in the Mall of the Americas. I'm going to continue to pull us back for some reason to serious sex crime topics because I refuse to leave them alone, and I need to.
Yes, you do.
I need to for the fun of the show.
Yes, I mean, I tried to take you to Shurmur.
So what else? What else did Magic Johnson say? What else did he say?
He said, "Cookie and I stand in support of the victims and their families as they embark on the road to recovery, and I support the movement to hold everyone involved accountable." Went on to say the roles of the new president, board of trustees, athletic department, faculty, campus police, and students will be to work together to create new policies and procedures to ensure this never happens again. As a Spartan, I love MSU and want to work with Coach Izzo, the administration, and the students to be a part of the solution in any way that I can.
There is nothing, I'm telling you. Magic Johnson and Tom Brady have gone their entire life without saying anything publicly, but you get the bleeped off dad in them?
Yeah.
Like that's Magic Johnson right there. That's not easy for Magic Johnson to do, as much as he loves that school and as much of Magic Johnson's career as he's spent not saying that kind of thing.
He just said anyone who knew, fired. Bye. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Magic, that might include Tom Izzo.
Right. Well, but the thing that becomes a qualifier, though, is anyone who knew, because I still don't know. This is the part that to me matters, that I feel like gets lost in this conversation. I still don't know what Joe Paterno knew. I've heard Joe Paterno's broken kids talk about what happened to their father with more facts on the case than I have, and I've read a lot of facts on the case. I still don't know exactly what Joe Paterno knew.
In totality, right. I mean, we do know that one of his assistant coaches, former quarterback, went to him after seeing Sandusky in the shower with a child.
Right.
And told him on a Friday, and Paterno did nothing with that news until Monday. Mm-hmm. I mean, which is odd if you're Joe Paterno.
Yeah, well, yes. And also odd, though, is that arriving on Joe Paterno's desk, because I'm not real sure how any of us would handle that.
Right.
If we might not kick that down to Monday. Like, I mean,
it feels like something you shouldn't kick till Monday.
No, but how the hell does anyone know how to handle that particular? We all know how we think we'd handle it. Yes, I'd immediately do this, and I'd beat up this guy, and I'd tell the police, and I'd tell the authorities. I don't know how any of us would actually handle any of these situations. How immediately, if it arrives on your desk on a Friday, what the hell you do with that. Like, it's easy for us to say on the radio what we would do with it. Yes,
Right.
we would do all the right things.
I did say those things at the time, yes, but now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. I don't know what I would do.
I am
Yes.
certain that we would say that we would do all the right things, but if it actually arrived,
Yes.
and you're like dealing with, okay, this guy has been a lifelong family friend. He's been accused of what? Wait a minute, you saw what in the shower? What?
Well, that's the problem. I don't want to revisit the whole thing, but
No.
people feel like Paterno knew way before that.
Okay,
Yes.
but okay, people feel, I don't know what's true though. I don't know. Should it matter? Should it matter? Because what I keep asking you about this question is, should it be absolute that the details don't matter? Because I believe the details ought to matter on what people know. But many people believe that it's an absolute. If these crimes are anywhere near your campus, everyone goes. Everyone.
I feel like it should be absolute. I really do. And it's impossible for me to fathom that Tom Izzo had no idea that this stuff was going on. I mean, Dan, Mark Emmert, who runs the NCAA, knew about this in 2010, did nothing, sat on it. Nothing. That's a disgrace, man.
Okay,
it
wait a
really
minute.
is.
Hold on a second, though. They're two different crimes. The 2010 thing is, yes, that's a disgrace, but this is a different thing than what is facing Izzo now.
No. Michigan, Mark Emmert knew about this. The stuff we're discussing right now with the basketball team and the football team, this was reported to Mark Emmert and the NCAA in 2010. He did nothing.
So no flames for him either?
Oh, no, he should have been fired a long time.
No, but I'm saying so no consequences for him.
No, there should be consequences.
Or
for him.
consequences for Izzo. No consequences for Izzo because we like him. Consequences for Emmert because he's a lousy leader of a lousy organization.
No, Emmert, consequences, Izzo, consequences.
Yeah,
consequences for everyone, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just consequences.
Yeah,
that's what Stugotz has always been wanting to do right there. Just dishing out consequences, blame, and judgment. Consequences for everybody.
Like a dealer.
That's
at
right.
A poker
You're a
table,
blackjack
yes.
dealer. Just
handing out consequence cards.
Just handing out everybody. You want them? Here's some in your face. Consequences for everybody.
I want parents to be able to send their children to a university
That's right.
and know that that the university and the NCAA is protecting their children because that's what they promise them on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? NCAA and Mark Emmert, start protecting the kids. Consequence card.
Awkward transition. Time for some
Wait a minute.
ads.
What is that? How does that work? You flip over the card and it says start protecting the kids, and on the other side it says consequences.
Well, yeah, no, I think it should say you didn't protect the kids, and on the other side, here are your consequences.
Oh, and
Yes.
what are the
You're fired.
You're fired. Okay, it's always you're fired. All right, very good.
So they're your fired cards.
You're
Yes,
fired.
there's no in between. There probably
so that's
should
it.
be.
Okay, no in betweens. That's fine. I understand. That's
See, a
fine.
great way to find out if you were fired
Does somebody
or not. right?
flip a card at Izzo's office? You're fired. Here are your consequences.
Hi, this is Papi. Do you know that my TV show Highly Questionable is not only on ESPN2 every day at 4:30 Eastern? It is also available as a podcast. You can listen or subscribe to the Highly Questionable podcast on ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don Le Batard.
Bill Belichick has told his players that despite the blizzard that's expected in the New England area, the Patriots will hold its final practices during its playoff bye week. No excuses for being late. Moron.
Stugotz.
Don't do that.
Sorry.
Don't
I
do
mean,
that.
no
Don't do
excuses for
that.
being late.
Dan,
I'm sorry.
If he needs it, you got to give it to him. He's helping Bill.
He is displaying behavior, that of a moron. That's all I'm saying. Save it. We're good. You kick, save, and abuse.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
This music reminded me that Mike Ryan is a grown man. He is a grown man who still, I think, every year goes to WrestleMania with his friends. Mike Ryan, I have not seen him as excited in 2018 as he was sharing with everybody a video of Brock Lesnar. It might have just been a picture of Brock Lesnar legitimately punching an opponent because he got mad during a match and just punched him in the head.
Potatoed him.
Wrestling fans, man, they really care. They're really passionate about wrestling.
It's really unusual. The thing that made me think about it is Ronda Rousey is going into wrestling, and one of the questions today on Highly Questionable, she's going, is it sad for this to be the way Ronda Rousey ends her career? Because very few people have been dismantled publicly as quickly as Ronda Rousey was. She went from should she be fighting against Floyd Mayweather
Right.
to just mentally short-circuiting with a loss in a way that did not speak well of her ability to handle adversity.
Mm-hmm.
She just crumbled.
Right. Was it Holly Holm?
Yes, Holly Holm, the boxer. It was the first time that Ronda Rousey had fought somebody who was just more technically skilled, and she could never get close to her because Holly Holm was just a boxer.
I could see where you would think that, but I saw an interview that she gave with Ramona, and I actually appreciated her perspective because she's right. She has other avenues where she can make more money. This isn't a cash grab at the WWE. She's going to be making a good salary. We can all assume that. But there are other things that she could be doing that would make her more money. And she knows that. She acknowledges that. She's doing something that's making her happy because she's been a lifelong fan. As someone that's never been motivated by money in any sort of decision you make.
Oh, I'm not going to make fun of Ronda Rousey for any of this. I just know that her end I found to be unfortunate because it looked from afar like that felt really bad. To collapse that way, it's not just lose, it's that you lose and you're never the same again, and next thing you know, you're out of the sport, and now you're going to go do fake fighting.
Right. Yeah. That feels. I mean, I understand. Still making money.
It happened very quickly.
It happened so quickly, man.
And so the question on Highly Questionable is: it sad for Ronda Rousey's career? It seems like a natural evolution. She was a star across the sky. She wanted to be in the action movies. This seems like Dwayne Johnson's career path. This is what she will choose next, and it'll be a lot safer than the last one.
I think if you asked Ronda Rousey, I don't know, 2 years ago, hey, in 24 months, you're going to be wrestling. All the stuff you have now, gone. Wrestling. She'd tell you it's said.
No, but she's actually told you this is a dream of hers. Oh. So how can it be sad if she's doing something that she's always wanted to do?
I mean, when did she say it?
She said it last night.
Okay.
But she's
2 years ago. I'm sure it wasn't the dream.
Oh, but she was at WrestleMania 4 years ago. Yeah. You know, she's a noted lifelong fan.
Right. I'm just saying different dreams 2 years ago.
Billy and Mike just love wrestling. Like, they're never going to have this as a bad move for her.
Okay, and no, wait a minute. I don't think it's a bad move. I don't believe it to be a bad move.
It's her only move.
Look, I'm obviously a wrestling fan. I'm just providing another side, whereas you're always going to have people that meet this story with she's doing fake fighting, and I'll just say, no, she's performing. This is something that she's performing. It's theater.
I mean, I'm less of a fan than Mike, but she's been appearing like on programming and stuff with them for years and has said she wanted to be a wrestler growing up. So it's not like out of desperate. I mean, it is partially, but it was a dream of hers.
Hold on a second. Let's backtrack for a second. I don't believe that this is desperate. Ronda Rousey would have had a lot of money-making options. I'm more interested in the rise and fall of Ronda Rousey, where it wasn't that long ago. Was it even, how long ago was it that we were talking about the idea, people were entertaining the idea of her fighting Floyd Mayweather before the Conor McGregor thing? That was a thing that was being talked about. And then to go from that to all of a sudden exposed as a fighter in a very public way. And she took it really hard. And I admire her. I admire her strength. I admire her story. I admire everything about her. But she took it unusually hard, being stripped down to that kind of vulnerability. And so from there, lose, quit.
Yeah.
This can be the best option and can be a dream, but I understand why the question is this that?
And keep in mind, she flew in from Bogota where she's filming a movie with Mark Wahlberg. Things are working out for Ronda Rousey.
Right.
Who isn't filming a movie with Mark Wahlberg, though? That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Nationwide coverage on America.
It really is. Poppy's working on one right now. My father's working on a movie with Mark Wahlberg. Not a lot of people know that.
Dan Le Batard.
I don't know anything.
Stugotz.
I don't remember what I was going to talk about, so in those instances, what I have is a default that just makes fun of Stugotz.
You're welcome.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
His 1992 album, Breathless, sold more than 12 million copies in the United States alone. For tickets and upcoming tour dates, visit KennyG.com. Kenny G starts our Super Bowl coverage like he does every year and has for many years. Kenny G opens our Super Bowl coverage. I've got a lot of questions for Kenny G. Thank you. Oh, he's here. He's here. He's here.
I think this is just the second year now.
That is correct.
I always give a fanfare for myself wherever I go.
Yeah. That's good. That must be nice.
Mm-hmm. It is. You know, when you have a sax like this, you travel with it.
I want to talk to Kenny G about his life. It's a fascinating life. There are many things fascinating about it. Go ahead, Stugotz. Make the joke about 15 seconds too late. Go ahead.
That's a fun.
So Kenny G is with us on ESPN Radio. And what I wanted to ask you about is flying your own planes. How often do you do that?
I do it about once or twice a week.
And do you fly to your own venues, or you just fly for fun? You fly to perform, or?
Well, the answer is yes.
All right. Well, no, I want to know about Kenny G's gangster lifestyle, though. Like, sometimes you leave your home, go to the airport, just get a plane that has a G on the back and a sax, and just fly to where and land wherever it is you're performing.
That happens at times, yes. And I don't know about the G on the back of the plane, but there's a G in the front of the plane flying it.
That's
that a boy.
That a boy.
Yes.
Do you have any good Miles Davis stories?
The Miles Davis story I have is that I was opening up for him in New York, and he came into my room, and the only time he ever talked to me, we played about 10 shows together, and he goes, "Hey, I like that song you play. The ladies like it."
What a great compliment.
Yes.
Where does that rank in the all-time compliments that Kenny G has ever gotten from anybody?
That's probably way at the top, because whenever the jazz traditional guys start giving me a bad time, I say, "Listen, were you in the room when Miles came up to you and told you how good you were?"
Well, but how does this work, though? Are you judged by other saxophonists who are jealous of your horns and your success?
That's probably a true statement, Stugotz.
Whoa! No, but is it?
That's probably one of the best things you said all day.
That's a fine, Kenny.
That is a fine, Kenny.
Yeah, because Dan said, so send us $5, please.
All right, so Kenny G is with us. His given name. Does anyone who refers to you by your given name? It's Gorelick, right? The last name.
It is Gorelick. Yeah. A lot of people do. It's funny. People will come up and go, "Hello, Mr. Gorelick," and I go, "Wow, how'd you know that? That's pretty cool."
Well, how often does this happen though, where people are like, they looking at your driver's license and they know it's Kenny Gorelick, and then they realize, oh, wait a minute, this is Kenny G.
It happens at the airport when I give them my passport, going through security. They'll kind of look at it, then they look up, then they look down, then they look up, and then they smile and they go, "Hey." That's it.
That's it. That's the end of the story. Didn't you play that? Didn't I read something the other day about like somebody was
played
flying
on an airplane,
flying somewhere, and you broke out playing you did a concert on the plane in commercial in coach?
It was coach. Yeah, I was flying coach. But bro, we all fly coach sometimes. And so, the lady next to me was a flight attendant for Delta. She was on a leave, and she said, "Hey, let's raise some money for this charity, and come on, come down the aisle and play while I raise money." And we did it. It was really fun, actually.
All right. Yeah, his life.
Yeah.
You live a fun life. Like, you don't have any terrible burdens in your life, right? You jump from happiness to happiness, note to note.
I don't know. I don't think about life like with burdens. I just look at it like with challenges. I practice every day. I'm trying to become better. I fly all the time to become a better pilot. I don't really think about it in the way of burdens. So yeah. Sorry about that.
But you got a great life.
There's no downside here.
But Kenny, you got a great life. I mean, you're flying around. You got your own plane. I mean, there's a G flying that plane. You're playing golf with Phil Mickelson. You got a pretty good life there, Kenny.
Golf with Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
You're a good golfer,
Golf with
right?
Phil Mickelson. He's fun to play golf with. He is a great golfer, obviously. It's so much fun.
Yeah, lefty. How much money? The most amount of money you've lost to Phil Mickelson playing golf?
Kenny G, did you just tell us that Phil Mickelson's a great golfer? Is that was your analysis of the whole situation?
I want to know the betting, though.
All right, let's hear about the betting.
I know, right?
There's some betting going on with Phil, isn't there? There has to be
some betting with Phil.
Yeah.
I have to limit it because that's his thing, man. It's always about Benjamin Franklin. Anything you want, it's always Benjamin Franklin. He starts talking about Benjamin Franklin, and then you start losing him because, hey, I'll bet you a Benjamin that I can X, Y, Z, and of course he can, and then you bet against him, and he always wins.
I'm telling you, Kenny has to be very careful here because there are people that are friends with Phil that have spoken too much, given too many details about what happens on the golf course, and they're no longer friends with Phil.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't know that.
No, Kenny did fine right there.
We didn't know that. We didn't know that. Well, wait a minute. But you asked the question. You tried to get him in trouble. You're telling us now after he's given the answer.
Yeah, I didn't realize it till after. Yeah.
No, it's great. I love playing with him. I don't mind losing a few $100s. It's nothing like life-changing. We never bet for that much. But honestly, he's a lot of fun on the golf course. He's a good talker, and he's also, He's just good, and when he calls his shots, which is really fun. He goes, "Watch this! I'm gonna hit this thing from this to this," and he just does it, and you go, "Wow, that was amazing."
That's Lefty.
That is.
Yeah, I mean,
Kenny,
I'm gonna get out there and play with you a lefty one time. I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty as well, by the way.
For the love of
Yeah,
God.
Kenny, can we make this happen?
Oh,
Me,
for the love
you,
of God.
and Lefty
No,
play 18 holes, Pebble Beach.
Enough! You just tried to get him in trouble with Lefty. Pebble Beach.
Kenny.
At Pebble Beach, I don't know. Maybe we might be able to do it on my home course, but I don't know about Pebble.
I'll be there tomorrow.
All right. So tell us about Jim Nance's wedding.
Yeah, beautiful wedding on the 7th hole at Pebble Beach. What a setting! And then the funny thing was, Gary McCord, the sportscaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like I played a song for them when Courtney walked down the aisle. It was a beautiful song, and I come off and I finish, and Jim and Gary McCord goes, "Man, I thought you were going to choke."
Oh,
it was really funny. No, he's a funny sportscaster. So I said, "Hey, that was really funny." But no, this is a saxophone. I'm not going to choke. I mean, I choke with a 6-iron, but not with a sax.
Do you have the song that you played for them that Gary McCord came after you on?
Yeah, it went. I played it slower than that, but it was a beautiful melody.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
You're the best. Can you give us the celebrity who got drunkest at Nance's wedding?
I don't remember that. I do remember talking to Ken Venturi at his wedding, and that was fun. He was classy, but he wasn't drunk.
Kenny, that's not the story I was looking for. I was looking for a good celebrity story at Jim Nance's wedding, and you gave me that crappy story.
Hey, bro, I got to keep it clean. Jim's a friend of mine. He's a great guy. Love him.
Who are your enemies? Who are Kenny G's?
Who doesn't like Kenny G?
Who are Kenny G? Everyone's a great friend. Who's a Kenny G enemy? Like, who's your rival?
Good question. If I have them, I don't know who they are.
All right.
They keep their secret. They're in the secret society. I don't know. You're funny.
All right. We got one more question for you.
What's the single most important thing the Eagles have to do to beat the Patriots?
Yes, there it is. Yes, of course. They got to get Kenny G to play the national anthem, of course. All right.
All they need is me to play the national anthem, and it's done.
All right. Talk to you tomorrow?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll call you tomorrow. We'll call you tomorrow. Good talking to you, Kenny G.
Here comes the money.
So strange.
I'll be on the golf course with Kenny G.
You're the
so
worst,
I'll call in
dude.
with him. Yeah,
the
with Lefty.
worst. He's going to try and parlay this in the flying on G's plane with Phil Mickelson to the Masters.
Lefty.
Dan Le Batard.
Blink 192.
Stugats.
Miko.
That's a fine.
Oh, Blink 182. Ah, bleep it. Do I get fined for that?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you get fined.
I thought they were names of people, not
Just
bands.
names in general. I mean, come on,
Blink
man.
192.
Yeah, I know. I made it 192. That's funny.
You put this in place, man. You know what? I still owe $1 from
No,
last
no,
week
but
as
wait a
well.
minute.
No,
Well,
you
from
don't.
last
You
week.
do.
Hold on.
That should be more than $1, Dan.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Stugatz's weekend observations are in 15 minutes, but during the break, I got treated to the private show of Stugatz as he railed against his computer screen, and Booger McFarland and Dan Dakich is who he was railing against on his computer screen. And the reason I bring this up is because, Mike, for his purposes, right, Stugatz does concerned dad well, right? Concerned public dad when he has to take the face of an issue, when he has to speak on behalf of the kids, save the kids, protect the kids. Stugatz does concerned public dad well, does he not? Do we agree with that? Are we in agreement that Stugatz does concerned public dad well?
You're painting a picture where privately I don't really care.
Well, what you care about the most is Stugatz.
Well, yeah, because
and so
being Stugatz helps my kids achieve their dreams.
That's right.
And their goals and their aspirations.
But you caring about Stugatz makes you trample Dakich and Booger McFarland when they make the points that they're making now publicly and stridently in defense of poor, beleaguered Tom Brady, who's had everything go wrong in his life.
They're the easy points to make. I've made the same points today. Everyone's making the same points. Booger McFarland, whom I love, by the way, criticized my play, my wardrobe, criticized my commentary. But I think I speak for all parents. You involve my kids and you have crossed a line that will cause serious problems. Dan Dakich, cosign. You're saying the most obvious thing in the world. The question is, does a man who said something that I believe to be pretty benign, I can say stuff about my kids, but no one else can, okay? A man said something which I believe to be pretty benign about Tom Brady's kids. Does that man deserve to be fired?
I don't think that's benign. I don't think that's benign.
That's a personal attack.
Calling her a pissant is not okay. It's not totally benign.
But does he deserve to be fired? That's the question.
Well, but wait a minute. There are a lot of stops between those things. And Tom Brady is saying, that's not okay by him. The host apologized profusely.
And it shouldn't be okay by him. But I'm wondering how far he's going to take this. Because when you hang up on a weekly interview that sponsors have paid a lot of money for, and the station, I'm assuming, paid a lot of money for, what you're doing is, whether you mean it or not, they're going to have a discussion and a meeting within that radio station. Hey, is this worth it? Do we need to fire the guy?
But this is why your prism is always the self-involved prism and takes precedent over even Stugat's concerned public dad. If you were Tom Brady, you would fire that host. You would get him fired. You would be angry enough to end that host if you had Tom Brady's power. That is how you would use it. You wouldn't view it from the prism of the radio host who is being punished and losing his career for not being as powerful as the famous athlete.
I have no issue with what Tom Brady did today, and whatever he does moving forward, I guess I'm okay with, because everyone can view that one differently as a parent. I'd like to think I wouldn't get the guy fired. I'd voice my objections. I'd be fine with him being suspended. I'd like to think that I would not get the guy fired.
Well, this is why, but I'd like to think that too. Stugat's sitting in front of me right now. This is not the Stugat's I speak of. I'm speaking of Stugat's with the actual power of Tom Brady. The actual power. And now he's angry and ending an interview the week of the Super Bowl in defense of his kids because and you can hear the hurt in his voice. Mm-hmm. And if you asked him right there, Tom, would you like to end this person's career? You given that power. You.
Yeah, I'd end him.
I think maybe. I think a lot of us would, by the way. I don't mean.
But Dan, it might be. So I'm saying what Tom Brady did today, his actions unintentionally. Tom Brady might be saying to himself, I don't want the guy fired. But what he did today might get the guy fired.
That's right. That's correct.
Kind of interesting. I mean.
Yes, that's correct. But you're defending the radio host is right. You're defending the indefensible, which is attacking someone's kids on the radio. Booger McFarland's taking the easiest stance possible. Don't we have easy stance imaging? Mm-hmm. Because protecting the kids and save the kids and say something about my kids and we've got problems is the easiest stance possible.
Not good imaging.
Let's hear the imaging that we've got here. Because Stugat's for a while there was Captain. Weren't you Captain Easy Stance?
I was, yes.
You arrived everywhere. Yes. You gave the easiest possible public opinion that made you look best and virtue signaled to everyone.
Now Booger's trying to take my cape.
Oh, now we come to the real truth.
There it is.
Even bigger than concerned public dad is someone else being a better and bigger, more concerned public dad than Stugat's is. Booger McFarland took the easiest stance. We've got problems if you've got problems with my kids.
And he's got a cohort. He's got a sidekick. He's got Dan Dakich.
Dan Dakich and Booger McFarland. The Lone Ranger and Tonto riding into the land of easy stances.
Easy stance.
Wow, you guys really did nothing with the easy stance.
He said it wasn't good.
Imaging. You really promised exactly what it is that you ended up delivering.
Easy stance.
So that's what you guys did out of the superhero character of Stugat?
No, there were a few cuts.
Captain Easy Stance.
Oh, that's the remix version, the remastered version.
Captain Easy Stance.